Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to 6 tips to adjust your oboe reed. Many oboists find making reeds bewildering because uh, oboe reed cane is organic and is always changing. And it can feel like there's a lack of consistency because there is. And that can, it's very easy to feel lost in the face of something you cannot control. um, I know that feeling really, really well. Today, I would like to offer you 6 tips to adjust some of your oboe reeds. These are suggestions. I hope that that's some more tools in your toolkit towards being able to play and make oboe reeds to your liking, or to take the oboe reeds that you've purchased and adjust them to your liking. So I hope this helps. My name is Erin Brophy. I am the principal oboe player of the Saskatoon Symphony and a sessional lecturer at the University of Saskatchewan. Why am I making these recordings? Why am I doing this presentation today? Well, oboe reeds is such a big subject for oboe players, and it's something that, is really something that can cause a lot of pain for people in terms of hearing a sound in their ear that they would like to get out and then not having a reed to produce it. I have lived that many times. And in my experience as a teacher and as a performer, it's something that can inhibit you from having joy in making your music. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today. The reason I'm sharing this information with you has to do with how I got started on the instrument and my journey of becoming an oboe player. I'm from a remote part of Canada that is really beautiful, and I'm going there next week. Pretty excited, and to visit my folks. And it was a wonderful place to grow up until I started the oboe, and that's when I started to feel very remote because I did not have access to a functioning instrument or functioning reeds or good information or a community of like-minded oboe players. And for that reason, I really struggled. On my journey of improvement, and there were many times when I almost gave up. And now that once I got access to information, when I felt like the curtain was drawn back. Once I got access to a functioning instrument and had access to reeds that worked, and joined this amazing community of oboe players, I was off to the races. And now that I help others with their journey, and I watch what happens when they get access to good information, and I watch what happens when they join a community of like-minded oboe players, it's really inspiring. And also, it's my life's work to get this good information out there and to create community for oboe players. And that's why I'm doing these live presentations. I don't want you to have to suffer the way that I did. It's also why I created a program called the Oboe Path, which is an entirely online oboe education program that enables an oboist to play with joy and ease. It uses a group online masterclass, personalized feedback, and a customized plan to help an oboe player connect to their instrument and to their community. Through the group online masterclass, an oboist joins a community of like-minded oboe players, a beautiful community that supports each other. They're all doing the same thing together. That helps with accountability and inspiration. With the personalized feedback, an oboe player goes to every practice session knowing exactly what they need to work on, and so they start to see the results immediately. It's so exciting. With the customized plan, oboe is able to fit in their busy life. Never met an oboe player who isn't busy. So, but there's a way to put practicing into your life, and the Oboe Path helps people do that. I just love the program. Okay, let's get to it. 6 tips to better adjust your oboe reed. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is mindset. There is not a magic formula to making reeds. There is not a secret code that you don't know. Oboe reed making is an ever-evolving craft for each individual oboe player. And it's something that it's beautiful. to sculpt a sound with your hands. I mean, it's just a beautiful way to spend time. But it's an individual journey. We all have unique physiologies, different instruments, different sound concepts, and so I just want to assure you, it's not because if you're struggling with adjusting your reeds, it's not because there's something you don't know. It's that you just have not yet experienced it and put it into your experience as a reed maker or as a reed adjuster. If you look at every reed as an opportunity to learn rather than to achieve the sound that you're looking for, that goes a long way towards becoming a better reed adjuster or a better reed maker. Looking at it as a long-term project, a growth. I know that's hard when you have a concert tonight and you want to sound really good. I know it's hard. But I think that long-term, looking at adjusting your reeds as a growth journey will actually give you a lot more confidence. So I'm going to suggest maybe shifting your mindset that you always need to find the most perfect reed. I was shifting away from that mindset towards I'm going to learn something from this reed. I know that certainly helped my reed making journey. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I feel a little bit like a broken record, I should have a bumper sticker made, is in order to adjust your reeds, you need a super sharp knife. Like every time you put a knife on your reed, whether it's your own reed that you're making or adjusting someone else's reed, this knife needs to be sharp, like very, very, very sharp as you can get it. If I'm making a reed beginning to end, I've probably sharpened my knife 10 times in there. It's very easy, especially if you're on stage and you want to do something quickly, to think, oh, I'll just scrape it out. But if your reed is dull, if your knife is dull, then it's going to make your reed not sound very good. It's as simple as that. So my second tip is have a really super sharp knife. If it's been a long time since you've purchased a knife, buy a new one. I do have a training about how to sharpen knives earlier in the late May. So if you want to go back in my videos, I hope that helps you come up with a sharp knife. Number 3 tip when you're adjusting reeds is to try your reeds on an actual piece of music. Having gone to oboe school and been in a reed room and listened to lots of different oboe players make reeds, one thing I observed is that we all have a noodle. We all have something we do on the instrument, but we all have something that we play on each reed, and sometimes we use that noodle to decide what we need to do next on the reed. And I would suggest not doing that. Do not play a scale to test your reed. Do not play a noodle to test your reed. Use a piece of music. My observation has been that if I just noodled on my reed, it always felt great. And then I'd go to play a piece of music and think, oh no, that's not doing any of the things I need it to do. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to play you my noodle. That's my noodle. If you hear it, that's me. Here's a scale. Now, reed sounds pretty good. Now I'm going to play a piece of music, and this is going to be the true test. Does this reed work? And it's only in playing the music that I notice that it's playing a little sharper than I want it to. It's a little brighter than I would like it to be. It's not able to do the downward slurs in the way I like. It felt great during my scale and my noodle. It felt like, oh, this is good reed, until I played the music. So I would encourage you, choose some pieces that you're going to always test your reeds on. That will give you much more consistent reeds. So my 4th tip is, if your reed is playing sharp, take more cane off. That will drop the pitch. If your reed is playing flat, clip it. So make it shorter. That will bring up the pitch. Now, adjusting an oboe reed is going between those two things. So when you have a sharp reed that feels really good and then you take off some cane and it makes the pitch better, but then you may not like the sound. You actually have to take more cane off to make it even flatter so you can clip it to get the resistance that you want. Conversely, if you have a flat reed that feels really great, but it's flat, and you clip it and then all of a sudden it's got so much more resistance than you want, you're going to need to thin it out a bit and make it even flatter, and then clip it again. So it's like the reed gets longer, the reed gets shorter, and the pitch goes up, and what you're trying to find is that balance between resistance and intonation. Resistance and intonation. My ideal reeds play very nicely in tune and have the resistance that I'm comfortable with. And that dance, that's the art part of adjusting your reed. So I would encourage you to sit in that place a lot until you find a reed. And notice at no point am I talking about sound quality, because if you have your intonation and the resistance where you want it to be, sound quality is like very far down the list. What you need is a functioning reed. That's what we all need, is a functioning reed. We don't need a really nice reed that we can't make work. Like a really nice sounding reed that we can't make work. So that tip 5 and 6 is to play in the space of resistance versus intonation. We can do something about resistance with our chops, with our embouchure. It's not as, of course we can change our intonation with our embouchure as well. However, my number one priority when adjusting reeds is intonation, always. My 6th tip has to do with a specific question that someone in the Oboe Hub, one of the groups that I run, asked, which was, if the low notes don't work, how do you adjust your reed? So first thing I would ask you to do is to make sure that your oboe is functioning, that it's maybe not coming from the reed. Maybe your oboe needs to be adjusted, or it needs to see an oboe repair person. But if other reeds make the low notes work and this reed doesn't, then of course there's something with that reed. So the reason why low notes don't work on a reed is because the reed is not vibrating. It's not getting going. It's not. There's not enough vibrations getting through the reed down to the bottom of the oboe. So what I would suggest is that you need to thin that tip, whether it's the tip of the tip or overall thinning that tip so that you get those vibrations going so that the bottom notes can come out. Once you have the resistance that you like, if you like the resistance overall, the rest of the reed, but the low notes still aren't coming out, you can take out of the bottom of the back of the reed, and that might help loosen that up a bit. Now, this is all based upon how I balance my reeds, which is not very helpful. If I could reach through the internet and take your reeds and balance them for you, I would. I really would. So every tip that I'm suggesting comes with a caveat that this is what works for me. And I know that's not very helpful wherever you happen to be sitting looking at this reed wanting to play it really well for tonight. But I hope that some of these things you can experiment with and then put them in your toolkit so that you can produce the sound that you're looking for on your instrument. Speaking of sound, I have a new ebook available. It's called High Note Mystery, and it's all about playing high notes on the oboe. It has a fingering chart that I use for all of my high notes, and also a description of the things you can do with your embouchure and your air in order to get your high notes to sing. I hope you find that helpful as well. If you would like access to that book, it's just a short little book. There's a link below this. There's a link below this video where you can get access. It'll take you to my website, and then you click, and then it'll be sent to you. Okay. I hope that you found today's video helpful. Let's all become the oboists we are meant to be. The oboe players that everyone wants to play with. Play the oboe with joy and ease. I'll see you next time.